Hello, everyone. Welcome to Cardano Live. Happy Friday. Ada's doing great. Cardano's doing great. We have the hard fork event coming up. And this evening, it's on the test net. So on the test net, you have the Cardano hard fork combinator event being tested this evening. That has been issued. And then they're going to figure out what's going on with that hard fork combinator event on the test net. Then it'll occur on the Cardano mainnet, scheduled for September 12th. Everything is looking really good so far there. So what we have tonight here at Cardano Live is we have Ridotto. We have the chief executive officer and chief technology officer. Mohammed is with us. The chief marketing officer, Fayrouz, is with us. Ridotto is a project deploying on Cardano. It works with the Card Starter family of products, and from the incubator from there as well. So I would like to thank you, Fayrouz and Mohammed, for being on Cardano Live tonight. Thanks for being here. How are you all doing this evening?
Thank
Thank
you
you
for
Rick.
inviting us.
All right. And what we'll do is, Mohammed, if you could tell us a little bit about yourself first,
Mhm.
and then we're going to talk about Ridotto, what is Ridotto, and all that other stuff. So a little bit about yourself, and then Fayrouz, you can tell us about us. Mohammed, please.
Sounds good. Yes. So as you said from my part, I'm Mohammed, and I'm the CEO and also the CTO of the Ridotto solution. So I have background of blockchain and cloud architect. I was working mainly in a banking environment, Societe Generale BNP1, so in a leading and major bank in Europe. And I was handling all the integration of the open source solution at scale, and that's on. For Ridotto part, so I'm the CTO, which means handling all the technical aspects of the solution.
Thank you, Mohammed. And you have a lot of experience there, and I've been looking at your website. The website is linked down below. Telegram is linked down below, and the team. You have a huge team. There's at least 9 people on your team, and I was like, wow, there's a lot of folks working over there at Ridotto. So Fayrouz, the chief marketing officer. Oh, you don't have to mute whenever you're not speaking. You
Oh,
can unmute there. Tell us a little bit about
okay.
yourself and your role as chief marketing officer at Ridotto, please.
Yeah. Hello, everyone. Hello, Rick. Thank you for inviting us. Hi for the community. So I'll start just by introducing myself quickly. I'm Fayrouz. I'm the other co-founder of Ridotto, and I'm playing the role of the CMO. So I'm handling all the aspects of marketing, communication, PR, and strategic partnerships. I have a marketing background. I have worked for some of the leading companies in some major sectors. I have also worked in one of the leading advertising agencies in Paris, handling a great portfolio of luxury brands such as Lancôme, Guerlain, and Louis Vuitton. And I have been in the consulting world, also helping some startup and volunteering with some tech industries. So yeah, and I've been in the crypto sphere since 2017. So I've known some green and some completely red market. And here I am today proposing something new with Mohammed to the community.
All right. Thank you for that introduction. It's nice to have someone who's involved with marketing with big brand names in your history of work that you've done in marketing. So thank you for coming on the podcast this evening. All right. Now for the viewers, check out the links down below. We have the Twitter to Ridotto is down below, Medium articles, the link to their website, and you can go to their website and scroll through all the information. There they have the white paper. There's information on token launch, how to get involved with the pre-sale, um, games that will be coming to Cardano through this gambling. And so it's something that is, I think, is really great about having Ridotto come to Cardano is people in crypto love to gamble. We are all here very early. We're all very high risk. I can't speak for everyone. I can only speak for myself. But what I've observed is people in crypto tend to have a pretty high risk tolerance for winning and losing, and gambling kind of goes hand in hand with that. I like to play the slots when I get that. We don't have them here in Virginia. I'm in Virginia, but when I go to Puerto Rico, North Carolina, and Washington State, there's plenty of casinos available where I like to play my hand and pull some slots, and that's kind of fun. That's always a good time.
Yeah.
So if you could please, and I think Mohammed was going to tell us about it. What is Ridotto, and what are you bringing to the table?
Maybe before going deep dive into the Ridotto itself, just we will get a view on the words of Ridotto itself. I will let Fayrouz introduce how the idea came from the the brain
Yes.
behind it.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that's a nice story. Tell us about that, Fayrouz. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah. So actually, it's a very anecdotic start of such a project. It was me having just. I was fed up with working with like huge companies. There was like 2 or 3 months very stressful. We were handling all the communication for like 80% of the Parisian luxury brands, and it was very hectic, long days of work, etc. So I was one Friday, I was really fed up, tired, etc. I was coming across a convenience store and I just saw one big ad saying that there's a huge jackpot in Euro Million. So I just said, "Oh, this is a life changer. Let me buy this lottery ticket." So I did this, and unfortunately or fortunately, I lost. Like 99.99% who participate. And actually, this led me to ask a lot of questions concerning the gambling industry, how much it's gloomy and dark and opaque, and we can't know what's going on inside. And I discussed this with Mohammed, who is a friend of mine, and he is fanatic about blockchain, and so do I. And actually, we were just asking ourselves that blockchain is a great technology plus great human values, means we can bring those values into this fun sector, which is just handled the by centralized powers that just look for their own benefits. But if we bring some transparency, some fairness, bring back the power to the people, this sector would completely change. And we thought of reinventing the gambling logic, and getting it more ethical and more transparent, and change the logic behind it. And here's the birth of Ridotto, actually. A very anecdotic birth.
And something maybe I can add also. So the concept behind Ridotto is to remove the third party. So if we took the traditional world where we have casino and the existing institution for gambling one, so we just remove the one who decide who will win, replacing it by a mechanism, the blockchain one, a decentralized source of authority. And we give also the possibility to the community to become that casino by providing liquidity to have ownership over the casino. So this is how we are trying to implement the Ridotto concept.
And prior to the podcast, you were telling me about the house always wins. Can you expand on that a little bit more on your concept behind that?
Yes. So actually, yes, the house always wins. If this quote is not true, the house wouldn't exist. The casinos won't exist, and the gambling industry wouldn't also. So we don't change this quote. It's actually true, but in Ridotto, we change the game. Yes, the house always wins, but here the house is the community, so the community always wins. We give the opportunity to the community, to users, to become the house by bringing liquidity into our DeFi ecosystem. And this is the greatest innovation in the gambling sector, since nobody yet have done this innovation before.
Okay,
Maybe
and you're doing that through what you're going to tell us about next is you have the games, staking pools or liquidity pools, and something else. There was the games, liquidity pools, and staking, right? Staking through
Yes.
the liquidity pools. So, can you tell us more about that, Mohammed?
more than this. In fact, we have three major pillars. We have the play, the build, and run. So for the play part, we will. It's one of the use case of the build protocol that we are proposing. In fact, we will have our own casino, the blockchain-based one, that won't just accept cryptocurrency, which means all the randomness aspect of the casino itself. It will be blockchain-based one. And for this play section, we will propose two major types of games. We have the traditional one, poker, roulette, etc. And in addition to this, we have in-house built special game for Ridotto one that will simplify some notion and increase the adoption of the cryptocurrency. So these are the major concepts regarding the play functionality. So the two innovative one, which is build and bankroll. Build one, in fact, we will propose to developer businesses the possibility to build on the top of the protocol without having deep knowledge regarding blockchain or what mechanism to implement it, how to handle randomness using oracles. So we'll propose just SDK's library. It will be like cloud provider model. When you will have a high level function, you can just call it and build your thing quickly with a smooth learning curve, which means you will just need a software engineer that well know Java, Python, or other languages. Then he will just interact with those layer. So this is the build part. The last one, which is the earn or bankroll. This is where we give the possibility to users the possibility to get passive incomes, to build the house, to get what usually casino gets. I will explain it in deep detail. In fact, there is something that we call the house edges. That means we can predict how many the casino will get per game. And for this, we are just opening the system to the whole world to contribute, to give liquidity, and to get usually what casino gets.
Okay, so the what you're saying by the house always wins. The people who are providing the liquidity to the liquidity pool become the house. So as players win and lose, which in casinos there's going to be losing, that those revenues that go to the house, there's going to be a cut going to the liquidity pool stakers, the liquidity pool providers.
Yes.
Definitely.
In order to run a poker game, you need to have the game itself, the logic. You need to have the one who will define the randomness part. And in addition to this, you need to have the fuel for it, which means liquidity. Let's take an example for a traditional casino. Imagine if we have a traditional casino and we run the first poker game. So it may have that the casino will lose for the first scenario. He need to get from his own liquidity and reward the gambler. So we are opening this to the whole community so they can inject liquidity to fuel those games, and they will get what casino usually gets as a reward.
Okay. So there's several different awesome concepts here. One is you're building the building blocks, such as an SDK for other people to be able to build the casinos upon. You're also building the concept of how the money is going to flow between the house and the players. And you also have some mechanisms to do it. Are you actually going to build particular games that you're going to deploy on a web browser, a mobile app? Do you have any plans for that as well?
Yes, but before going deep into this question, there is something I would like to mention when you talk about play, build, and earn. So these are three features that are really coupled and tightly coupled, because once you propose the build platform, you cannot build casino if you don't have liquidity. Imagine yourself building a game, a poker one, and there is no liquidity that you can inject from your side, so you won't be able to run that casino. This is why we are proposing also this bankroll functionality. It is complementary to the build part. And the play one, it is just a use case to tell to businesses, developers that using our protocol, we can build and expose a casino. So this is how we are seeing things, combining build, bankroll, and on the top of it, expose a casino that will be the play one.
Okay. All right. Thank you for clarifying that. I needed a little bit more. I appreciate you explaining this. And same as the viewers, like if you explain it to me as if one of the viewers, it's probably best for the viewers to get all the information they need. And just a reminder, the viewers, as we get further into the podcast, feel free to ask questions and over in the chat, and I'll get to the ones that I can so that we can ask while we're live here. I just want to make sure that, 2 or 3 weeks from now, if someone says, hey, I really want to know how this was, maybe you didn't catch it on Cardano Live podcast, but maybe you'll catch it over on Kaizen or over on one of the other big podcasts on Bloom with Pay over on his podcast at Big Pay, and or even Hashoshi. That would be pretty cool. So make sure you ask your questions, and we at least have them out there in public. All right. So a few other things. What are the kind of risks that you have to deal with and manage? Because people in crypto have to deal with risk. People learn to manage risks. What kind of risks are you dealing with and managing?
So the major one is tightly coupled to our choice of being on Cardano. So we are pretty aware that we can have some delay regarding the delivery of the smart contract, regarding the delivery of feature. So being a first mover on Cardano space, being one of the first projects that will be under gaming and entertainment section, it will give us that strategic move. But in contrast, we have that risk of not having all the needed bricks to be able to build our solution. because we will integrate with several services. We need Oracle, we need Wallet, we need Dexes, and we need them to be live to be able to build our protocol. So this is one of the major technical risk. We accept it. We cannot deal with it. So the other one, it's not a risk. It's more like long-term view. So as we are working in the gambling industry, so we need to work with licenses. And the main issue here, if I can say so, is not getting a license to expose a casino itself. This is not a clear issue. We can get it, have a restricted community to access to the casino itself, but we need to get wide and at scale access to the casino, simply because the bankroll part will depend on several parameters. One of the major of those parameters to have a high reward is the number of plays, and the number of plays depend on how much and how many gambler can access to our service. So we need to be accessible from everywhere. So this is one of the major things that we are working on, to have license, if I can say so, to have the technical layer to be able to expose our solution at scale.
Okay. So, for example, you might be able to build and deploy your solution in France, for example, Portugal, several other countries, but maybe not right away in the United States, Germany, UK. So there's going to be variation from country to country depending on how their casino laws work. Is that what you're facing?
We didn't define yet the target jurisdiction when we will host the solution, but our main concern is to really get not restricted area to be able to gamble over the platform, because if we have less gamble, we will have less reward. We need to get wide exposure. So there is several strategy that we are discussing, have several entity that will expand Ridotto over several jurisdiction, but we didn't define yet what will be the target solution.
It's
Okay.
it's an ongoing work with the legal team, actually.
Okay. Yeah, I can see that would take a lot of work. Like, for example, in the United States, I'm in Virginia, and it's not like I can gamble here in Virginia unless I go to an Indian reservation. But I go down to North Carolina, down to Cherokee, and I can use the casino down there. Or you can go to Nevada, and it's everywhere, like in the local
Yes.
convenience stores. They got slot machines. All right. So in the United States alone, it's very difficult, just state by state, where you can gamble and
Yes.
what particular types of gambling, like, is it a full-blown casino, or is it just little lottery kind of stuff off to the side?
It is more paperwork and legal part to have a huge exposure. We have the same here in Europe. If we'd like to expose through Malta, it will be several weeks. Otherwise, if you'd like to have casino in France, it may take months. So it depends on the target jurisdiction.
Okay. If you don't mind, would you be able to give me some idea, when do you plan on having some sort of beta products out, and what are those beta products? What do you think you'll be deploying first?
Before going to that, I will just give you a quick view over the major milestone till the beta one. It will be, I think, more clear for the community. So for the moment, we have an ongoing private sale that we will close in few days, as we have a huge demand. Once we close the private one, we will go for an IDO. It will take place at Cardano. It will be by the late month of September. Once we have that IDO, we will expose an incentivized program on the Ethereum blockchain. So this program will have some pool for single asset staking, some LP, and also NFT farming. So this part of NFT, it will give the early adopter a reward to have utility NFT, not artistic one, that will give you special ability over the target platform. I can't say more about this. I will leave it for later. Once we have this incentivized program, we are looking to expose lottery and slot machine by the end of this year. So we started announcing some partner for who we will build their own lottery and slot machine in addition to us. So as we are positioning ourselves like build protocol, not just casino, we will build things for others. So we start, if I can say so, a test to our solution, and we will integrate our first partner, which is Donkey Finance, and build for them the lottery and the slot machine by the end of this year. Regarding the beta application, so when we talk beta from our side, we are not talking just about piece of work in software. We are talking about audit, security, legal part. We are targeting to launch it by the end of Q2, the start of Q3 for next year.
Okay, wow, there's a lot there. I'm glad you covered that because you got a whole lot covered in a nice little nutshell there. Thank you for that, Mohammed. We did have a brief question from one of our frequent flyers here, James Kelly, who's a security expert. And James asks, how do you determine the randomness? And Mohammed, please.
Yes. So one of our first partnership was with Charlie Tree. So we are working deeply with Charlie Tree to be able to use Oracle to generate that random number or ensure that random algorithm. We did also a small call with Chain Lab last week, and we are also discussing this randomness part to include it into our offer when we will expose Ridotto into other blockchain. Because as we said first, Ridotto is cross-chain one. We will deploy over Cardano, and we are looking also to expand all over other blockchain. So for the other one, it will be if we go for blockchain that are compatible with Chainlink, we will sure use their service, the VRF one, which is well known. And for Cardano one, we are working with Charlie Tree for it.
Okay, that's nice to hear because Charlie also is an incubator that launched through CardStarter as well. So you guys are kind of getting everything. The pieces are really starting to come together nicely. Thank you for that question, James, and thank you as well, Mohammed. I appreciate your answers there. We did have another question from Hedges Stake Pool. Thank you, Hedges Stake Pool. And Hedges asks, is sports gambling on the roadmap?
I will let Fayrouz answer to this.
Yes. So we have four categories of games that are planned for the moment. We have cards games, poker like poker, blackjack, etc. We have slots. We have also bets, and we have sports betting, of course. And the fourth category is the no loss game. And actually, this game is a kind of lottery, but you never lose your initial stake. So
So
those are the four categories of games we are proposing for the moment.
so if
Okay, you got my attention now. You got a lottery that you never lose your stake. I'm drooling. I'm sorry, Mohammed. Go ahead, please.
yeah, maybe just to emphasize into this, we for sure will have a sport game, and we present this into our prototype in the website. You can just take a look over it. And in addition to that, even if we don't have sport game, we are build protocol. So if you are interested, you can build your own game.
Nice, nice. All right, thank you, Hedges Stake Pool, and thank you, Mohammed. Appreciate it. And look, I guess there's someone who's an expert also mentioned ISWAR and said using an Oracle, so that would be the Charlie oracles in use there. All right, thanks everyone. Hey, let me know if you have any other questions over in the chat. We are well over halfway through. We've gone through a lot of information, a very short period of time. And we touched on all of the main points, the risk, the build, things that are coming up. How about, token? What can you tell us about the initial token sales, the pre-sale currently in progress, and how do people get the tokens? RDT. RDT is the token that we're talking about here. How do people get it? How does the pre-sale work?
Okay, so to get the token, it depends on which phase you are positioning yourself. So actually, if you'd like to get onboarded, there is two way. The best efforts one, in fact, we are organizing a set of contests, and each week we'll have a winner with a huge reward of 20k RDT. So you can just participate, some simple task, creating a meme, liking our Twitter page, participating, and you can get some RDT token. The other one, it will be to apply for the private sale. So you need just to apply, and we are reviewing application and choose the one, the investor, the collaborator, the community that will help us for the long term to get involved into the private sale. And it will be this traditional process of private sale. After the private sale itself, once it's closed, we have the IDO. It will be held on CardStarter, and here we have the process of the launchpad. You need to have cards. It depends on how much you have. You will get access to a given portion of the token itself. Once it's launched over CardStarter, we will be listed first on Uniswap. So these are the three major points when you can get involved to have some RDT.
Okay, and if I remember correctly, the current card starter is only on Ethereum because we don't have the smart contracts on. So if they have to get people have to get cards tokens on card starter and use that to swap into the RDT. So that's the mechanism by which people would have to do it. Did I read that correctly?
Not really. The fact that you hold cards, it will give you possibility to get piece of allocation into the dedicated one.
Okay. Now, would people be able to use Ethereum on Uniswap to purchase the RDT tokens?
Yes, it will be listed on Uniswap just after the IDO.
Okay, listed on Uniswap right after the IDO on Ethereum. Do you have an estimated timeline of when the Cardano native asset version of RDT can be purchased, or do you plan on using the ERC20 converter or both? What can you tell us about that?
We are looking first to launch as ERC21. And as I said before, launching with Starter doesn't mean just organizing the IDO process. It's more than this. So with Starter, we are also willing to get that bridge that will help all the projects launched over Starter to be exposed and have their token over the Cardano mainnet. So once it's ready, we can transfer this token from the Ethereum side to the Cardano one. And in addition to that, we have some pending work. So we are checking with one of our partner, which is Fayrouz Network. So we will work with them to expose this incentivized program. And in addition to that, they have some pretty good technology for bridging. It includes BC, Matic, and Cardano by the end of this year. So we have several possibilities to expose the token over the Cardano blockchain.
Okay, cool. All right, Mohammed. So could you do me a favor as those pieces start to come together, as you build that out, if you could pop over onto a podcast and let the folks over here at Cardano, let the Cardano community know with a follow-up on how they can get those Cardano native asset type tokens as well. Are you cool with that? You can come on Cardano
Yeah,
Live. You go over. You got
yeah,
Prakesh over there, Kaizen
definitely.
Crypto. You know,
Definitely, for sure.
yeah. Get us some follow-up data as you build that out, because people love that there are so many developers building on Cardano, and gambling is fun. I mean, I don't recommend it to other people, but I enjoy doing it myself. Let's see if we have anyone. Oh, there's a good question from Trade Feeds. Thank you, Trade Feeds. He's here often for the. Thank you for this question. Trade Feeds asks, are you going to use Kaleidoscope paper by IOG to build your protocol? And what he's referring to here, of course, as you guys know, is the Cardano research library is massive. It has 114 research papers on it already. There are research papers on there for building decentralized exchanges. You have Kaleidoscope. There is a poker modeling research paper done over there. How's it going with that? Were you able to use the Kaleidoscope paper, or your developers looking into that kind of stuff?
Okay, so for building parts, because the solution itself can be split into two major parts. We have the off-chain side, the game itself, the web application, and we have the on-chain, the one that will be handled over deployed over Cardano for the part of existence on Cardano blockchain. For this, we are working deeply with the MLabs to deploy this. And at this stage, I do not have a clear view on if they from their side are using this type of research. I can just get in touch with them and let you know once I have the info.
Okay, yeah. So the developer teams may be using that research. It's kind of like asking me, did I use the owner's manual to put together a swing set? Well, I don't know. You wouldn't know until you ask me. All right. So if you can, if you follow up on that, that would be great. It'd be interesting to see that research coming to life, because so much time and effort has been put into that. All right. Thank you, Trade Fees. And thank you as well, Mohammed. I appreciate it. Let's see. I don't think we have any other questions along that line. So we got the token launch. Token distribution. All right. Oh, can we talk to token distribution for a little bit here for what we can so far? I can pull up a screen share, but we'll have to speak to it verbosely, or just want to do it verbally if you want to talk about the tokens that are allocated to the team, tokens for staking, tokens that are allocated for purchase through the private sale. Can you tell us a little bit about that, please?
Yes, I can give a view on it. So we defined a tokenomic model that will sustain project for the long term. So we have defined maximum market cap. So for the first part that will interest the early adopter, it will be the private allocation or the cell allocation. So for this, it will be kind of 50% that will include the private one, the IDO, the liquidity, and the launchpad fees. For the policy of the vesting, which means we will release it with a specific model. For the one who participates in the private round, they will get 2.5% at the TG, which means at the token generation event once it's live. Then we will release every 3 months the rest for a duration of 9 months, which means a ratio of 1 of 3. So this is the private one. For the public one, the allocation dedicated for the IDO, we will release 33% at the TG. Then it will be a linear release over 3 months. Regarding the team and advisor, we have a strict vesting policy, which means the token will be locked for 6 months, and we will have 0% of long at TG. Then the release itself, it will be over 2 years. So the main allocation that will be released at the TGE, it's 2.5% for the private one, 33% of the IDO one. Then we will have the liquidity. For sure, we needed to push it into Uniswap so people can be involved. And the last one will be the reward that will be included in that incentivized program to get reward once you provide liquidity or a single asset.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Mohammed. And, you know, for more details, I would like to encourage viewers, please make sure you check out the links down below. We have the link to the white paper and the economics from Ridotto. So check that out. Scroll down to the pie chart. It'll give you more details about the token allocation for staking, sales, marketing, the team, bug bounty, stuff like that. It's very important because we talked about this before the podcast, Mohammed and Fayrouz and I, and we're well aware that, you know, over the past years, buyers need to be alert to what are the token allocations and what is the vesting period, so that if you're an early buyer, are you going to have some sort of an advantage, and what those advantages are? And if you're a late buyer on the DEX, are you going to get dumped on? They are keenly aware of that. And I guess you guys look at it in the tokenomics process on how to deploy, where you can get your building revenues. You got to have revenues to build a product. But then you also want to be careful that your VC investor supporters and early buyers and pre-sale buyers aren't totally wiping out the new players that come into the game. So, I mean, there's a delicate balancing act there. Have you guys been looking at that? I take it.
Yes.
Yeah.
You can go ahead, Fayrouz, then.
Yeah, actually, just to go back to the tokenomics, when we were studying this and establishing them, we only thought about the about the projects growing in a healthy way and having a steady growth. So that's why we are one of the rare projects that have 2.5% release for private investors on TGE. So it's very low. And at first, some of the private investors just said, "Oh, that's a little bit low for us." But fortunately, when we explain our vision to our investors, they all agreed on having this percentage so that the project can breathe and in the long term. And going back to the VCs, to just give you how do we select them. For yesterday's extracts on the form on we had for private sale. So you know we are raising 2.3 million, and for now we have 5 million demand on the form. So that means that we are very picky and very um, exigent with our VCs. We have for all of them we had like interviews with them, meetings. We like discuss visions. We select them upon either they are going to help the projects on the long term, not upon how much they are bringing as funds to the table, because as we all know, in the blockchain, funds are not difficult to find. Funds for projects like ours are very easy to find. What we need actually is people that are invested in the project. They believe in the project in the long term, and that's bring value to us. And that's how we selection our VCs. And I won't cite names, but we refused the VC, for example, that wanted to invest from 500 to 1 million, but that doesn't fit our requirements. At the early stages of the project, when we didn't have anybody to invest, just because we are a long-term project. It's a project that we funded from the beginning from our own funds, from our salaries, and we believe in it in the long term, and it's a piece of us for now. So we are very picky on who the people are we surrounding ourselves with.
Maybe when you were talking about requirement, you didn't list them. So as example, we are one of the rarest projects who define a maximum of investment per VC. So avoid having three or five major VC having all the private allocation then dump over us. And also we did something that we opened the private cell to private individuals also. So we are including them, and we have a ratio for the moment, one of fourths. It will be held by private individuals and not VCs that believe into the project itself.
Mhm.
I get where you're coming from. So if some Playboy billionaire out there wanted to buy out the entire project and say, yeah, I'm going to fund you 100%, and I guess that could be problematic, maybe. I don't know. But at least you guys have put some thought into that. I appreciate that. So I think we are wrapping up here. We touched on all the questions that we wanted to hit. Is there anything that either of you would like to add, Fayrouz or Mohammed? Anything we didn't touch on, or anything you would like to tell the viewers before we wrap up for the day?
It's just a kind reminder for people that want to have some free RDT. We are having a huge contest. We already had two parts of it, and we it's still sustaining for other 2 weeks. And actually, it's simple, very simple and fun things they can do. You can find the link on our Twitter. We are giving away 20K RDT. So just just good luck for you. We will be happy to see your memes, to see you interacting in Telegram, etc.
All right. Thank you, Fayrouz. And that is linked down below. So check out down below for a chance to win 20,000 RDT. That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
You're excellent chief marketing officer. Well done. Mohammed, final words, sir. What do you got for us for just this podcast? Maybe there'll be other podcasts. Do you got anything else for today?
Yes, we really appreciate, first of all, your engagement, the fact you are willing to share awareness about the Cardano universe. And we really appreciate how community are getting bigger and bigger day after day. And without the community, we won't exist. So we really need their support to share the awareness about Ridotto, to help us in several aspects. So if you would like to propose to give help to Ridotto, don't hesitate, just DM one of the admins and let us discuss.
And maybe just one final point, since we only presented ourselves, but actually there's a wonderful team behind us also. So I just wanted to thank them all with names, since we are only seven. So thank you, Umar, Samuel, Lionel, Jason, Amin, Haishi, and Zach, and Isam also. So thank you all. We are very glad to have you on board. You are helping us a lot. So this is final thing. I promise I won't add anything else.
No, that was perfect, Fayrouz. Perfect note to end it on. You have a fantastic team there. It looks like they're well experienced. It looks like you have an all-star team. Quite a number of people working on this project. Greatly appreciated. Thank you all for being here, and thank you to all the viewers. Remember, check out the links down below. And just like all day, every day, Cardano is going for number one. We are not going for number two. We are not going for number three. We are going for number one. Y'all have a great Friday. Have a great weekend. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.